All right, I'll get going. Welcome everybody. I wanted to start with let's get all the procedure out of the way. So you can see us, we can't see you, which is sad for us, but I think good in general because we record this event, but we can't see you in the recording, so don't worry. Your audio is muted. We can't hear you either, hence the typing stuff. But we do want to hear from you through the course of the presentation. We'll be having some polls using Mentimeter, and we will also ask you to submit questions in the Q&A window. So the thing that we've all been typing our locations into is just the chat feature. When we're doing the Q&A section, we actually look at the questions and the question and answer thing. We don't pay that much attention to the chat. So if you have a question, please put it in Q&A. There's a little Q&A bubble in your Zoom controls. And feel free to put questions in there at any time while we're talking. If it's something that we can answer asynchronously, we'll try, and if not, we'll get to it at the end. And closed captioning is available. So to turn it on, you can push the little live transcription icon at the bottom of your screen, and then let it know what you want to see. But that should help in case you want to follow along, not having to listen to this. Here's what's going to happen. This is the introduction. It's almost over. That was easy. Q2, we'll actually introduce ourselves. We want to talk a little bit about the quarter that we just finished, like the fiscal quarter. So three months basically that we just went through. And we want to look ahead to the next 3 to 6 months of work that's going on at Meetup, so you all can see a little bit of what we're planning. And then we want to leave a chunk of time for questions and answers. We typically do not get to every single question with an answer. That's just it doesn't, even if I left more time, it's almost impossible. We try to answer questions over time on our blog. We'll try to answer some in the blog post that comes out following this with the recording. But if we don't get to you, apologies, feel free to post it again. We'll even give you ways to get in touch with us so you can ask us. And hopefully we have some fun. By way of introduction, my name is Dan. I'm the VP of Product here at Meetup. And I'll let Prerna, my co-host, introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I am Prerna. I'm the Senior Director of Product on Dan's team and excited to be with you all today.
Our first thing is just like I was talking about. It's a poll. So we want to know who's here. You told us where you're from. We want to know a little bit about you in regards to how you know Meetup. So if you go to menti.com, you can type in this code and it'll let you answer a question about how long you've been using or how you use Meetup really. And that'll give us a better sense of the audience here. So take a second, go to menti.com and type in that code. Thanks, Cindy. Cindy from my team just pasted it in the chat. And since this is information that what's on the poll, but also so like Prerna and I have both been using Meetup for probably approaching a decade each. So we're also longtime Meetup users.
All right, I'm going to share my screen so we can see the results come in live. And if you are still trying to get to the code, it's also still here at the top of the screen, menti.com, and just use this code up here. So we've got, looks like about 52 people voted. Good split.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the 2 people who haven't been using Meetup, 3 who haven't been using Meetup. Welcome. We're so glad you're here and hope we can convince you by the end of this to sign up for Meetup.
Real-time data display is just mesmerizing. All right, so we have a good split. Organizers, members, slightly more members. See where that nets out. Oh, members are winning. All right, so I've been a member for about, actually, I think more than 10 years. I just checked my account, but only organized for a few. So I guess I fall into multiple buckets. Let me, switching screens is hard. There we go. All right, let's dive into this.
Cool. All right, so I will go from here. If you've joined us for any of the past few Meetup lives that Dan and I have done on our product roadmap, then you've seen us talk about these priorities that we had listed for 2021. Just as a reminder, again, if you haven't joined us, just wanted to recap what Dan and I have sort of shared with you all and where our ambitions are in 2021 to focus on in 3 big areas. So first has been improving the way that we help people find and attend online events, and making sure that it's really easy to join any event happening globally. Obviously, the pandemic is still happening amongst us, and depending on where you are, it's better or worse. And so we firmly believe that online events are still here to stay, and want to make sure that we do everything we can to support that. Second, we are very much invested in just helping our members find events and groups and just stepping up our game and telling you about them proactively. For all the organizers that are here today, we know that this is really important for you all, just because that's, the value that Meetup provides, is making sure that we can actually drive folks to your event. So on both sides, this is a really important thing for us to deliver consistently on. And then lastly, our big focus for 2021 is continuing to improve the tools that we give all of you organizers here today, but just better tools so that you can do what you need to do on our platform. So Dan kind of already recapped like what our agenda for the day is today, but just to kind of walk through it, I'm going to be talking specifically about what we've shipped in Q2, and giving you a little bit of some highlights from our team. Dan's going to be walking you through what we're currently working on and what you can expect to see from us in Q3 and Q4. And then, like Dan said, we're just going to save some time at the end for any questions. So without further ado, I'd like to share some highlights from what we shipped in Q2. Today, what I want to do is I want to highlight a couple of big projects that have shipped in the last few months. And I'm going to break them down by what shipped on web, what went out for our pro organizers, and then lastly, some updates from our mobile apps team. Also at the end, I just want to spend a little bit of time talking a little bit about some of the major bug fixes that have gone out this past quarter. I think it's really important that we share some of the work we've been doing on our core platform to improve the experience. So next slide, Dan. Some of you might remember from our last product roadmap update, we highlighted that this group settings project was in the works. I'm really excited to share that we shipped this new feature 100% globally to all of our organizers. What this means is that when you access your group settings as an organizer, you're now going to see a new set of pages, including a new dashboard. You'll see the screenshots on the slide. We've updated these pages to a more modern UI, as you can see in front of you. But really, most importantly, we've made these pages a lot easier to use. We've updated the instructions, the help text, the error messages, so you just have more guidance when you're making changes to your group. We've also streamlined a lot of the information hierarchy so that these pages have similar content grouped next to each other. So you're not going all over the place trying to make specific changes or specific, like you're trying to set up different functions for your group. We've tried to streamline all of that. So similar jobs are next to each other. Now that we've kind of like rolled out this very cohesive group setting experience, expect to see us iterate on this surface a lot more. We're planning on including a lot more features and functionality to this new and improved surface, and really tie it together with a lot of the other organizer tools that we currently offer and plan to offer in the future. And a lot of this is being driven by the feedback that we hear from you all. So continue to send that in either today or in the future. We'll share an email address with you all where you can continue to give us your feedback. But really excited that we're starting to move to a place where we can iterate and show you all these great features that we have planned for you. Next up, for our international users, which I know there's a ton of you all here today, when you used to come to Meetup in the past as a guest, you actually saw a very different homepage than those of us in the US. We've now unified those experiences. So for all of you that are accessing Meetup globally, you'll now have the same logged out experience as everyone else. This includes a much more prominent navigation to search and other event discovery opportunities. as well as just an overall improved quality of translations. So we're glad and excited to share this with you all today. Next up. Um, the next set of things I want to talk about specifically apply to our pro organizers. And the first thing I want to talk about is actually a very big and exciting release for us, which is the network event scheduler. So a little bit about what this actually is. Using the network event scheduler, Meetup Pro admins can actually create one single event called a network event and share it across multiple groups within their pro network. This tool allows event creators to choose which groups they want to promote the event to, apply edits to the event across all the groups that they've selected, and then lastly, see and communicate with all network event attendees. We're really excited for this feature for a couple different reasons. I think this is for those of you who are using Pro, just streamlines some of the things that you might have already been doing to like host a single event across multiple groups. For those of you who are pro organizers and are hosting online events, this is really great to help you extend the reach of your communities across all the many groups that you might have in your pro network, while still allowing you to build and develop local communities. We've gotten a lot of really great feedback from pro customers that we've already rolled this out to, and we're working on continuing to iterate and improve this experience in the coming weeks. So I'm excited for you all to try this out and definitely let us know what you think. Next up, I want to talk a little bit about our public APIs and our transition away from our legacy REST API endpoints to our new public GraphQL APIs. A little bit of, if you aren't unfamiliar with APIs, public APIs are a really powerful tool for our pro organizers, allowing organizers to both extract and share data from Meetup to other external applications and vice versa. So with our new endpoints, we're using a much more modern framework, and we have really great documentation to support it. If you have any questions about this, or you want to learn more about transitioning to the new endpoints, if you're a pro customer, we'll share an email at the end of our presentation where you can reach us, and we'll connect you to the right folks and make sure that we can get your questions answered. Lastly, for pro updates, I wanted to share an update that we made as a direct response to a major feature request that we got from our pro customers. You can now customize the subject line of messages that you send out to your members. I think this is just a really critical feature that we didn't have for quite some time, and I wanted to highlight this specifically because this work was prioritized and built directly as a result of the feedback that we've gotten from our pro customers. So I just want to highlight that your feedback really helps us define what we do and how we do it. So again, please keep that coming. It's incredibly welcomed and helps us just make the product a lot better. And then for our mobile apps team, our team did a lot of great work building and shipping a lot this past quarter. But one of the projects I wanted to highlight that was released was we are now offering new mobile app widgets. And they are available to download on both iOS and Android devices. Dan just played the video. So the video loop shows you how you can install them from the respective widget store of each platform, whether you're on Android or iOS. And you have a variety of different formats to choose from for your widget. Why I'm excited about this is because it makes it really easy to access upcoming events, recommended events, and just direct links to more events in the app, all right from your home screen. So if you're on the road or in a hurry to go to your next Meetup event, which I often am, it's just a really quick access to help you get the information that you need. So that's it for the highlights from our teams. But Dan, if you go to the next slide, as I mentioned, I do want to talk a little bit about some of the fixes we've been making to our core platform. Dan and I and our teams know that there's still a lot of parts of Meetup that don't work as they should. And our goal is to be just super transparent with you all and communicate when we're fixing these issues that have been reported to us. So today, I just wanted to highlight a couple that have been recently fixed. The first one is around photo uploading. So we're aware that uploading photos on our platform, whether on desktop or on apps, hasn't always been the most reliable experience for our members and our organizers. Over the years, different parts of our product we have been using different photo systems. So we recently launched a completely revamped photo uploading system across the board. And what that means for you and what you should be seeing is a new user interface. But more importantly, you should be seeing a tool that just simply works and actually uploads your photos no matter where you're trying to upload them from. Since we've had so many disparate photo uploaders on our platform, there's a lot to go through. So we're replacing each of them one by one, making sure that it works for every use case, whether you're uploading them to your events or to your groups or to your profile. So we're doing this one by one. We've finished replacing almost all of them, but we have a couple more to go. But we're just really glad to have been able to address this major pain point for our members and our organizers. So let us know if you see any and continue to see issues, but this should be largely resolved. Secondly, I want to talk about the contact members tool. Again, this is something we've heard from many of you that our email tool hasn't been reliable. It doesn't always send emails, and when it does send emails, oftentimes as an organizer, you don't actually have an idea of like what got sent out. I know I've had that moment as an organizer many times where I was like, oh man, I would love a copy of what I just got. So we've been working on addressing these issues for quite some time now, and I'm excited to share that we've migrated this to a completely new system. What that means for you is that you should be seeing better deliverability of your emails. But a really exciting feature we're excited to share is that we've enabled a new setting that allows organizers to receive a copy of every email that they send. So no more guessing if your email got sent out or not, and what it said, because you should see it right in your inbox as soon as it sends to any member who has enabled notifications. And so that's it from me. I'm going to pass it off to Dan to share a little bit more about what we've got in the works for the rest of the year.
Thanks so much. All right, couple big buckets, and there's a little bit of stuff that doesn't quite fit into these specifically, but just talking about improving online events, specifically around hybrid events. Now that specifically in the US, a lot of us are returning to more in-person events and have these groups that we've built over the last year, more than a year online. So how do we help with that? And a little bit more around finding events and groups for you and some more organizer tools. So let's get started. So a lot of you, if you're like me, you've seen your community grow over the course of the pandemic, given the reach of online events. I think I saw that in either the chat or the questions from somebody. So now a lot of organizers find themselves balancing keeping that growth and that bigger, like that bigger ring of members of their group, as well as getting back together in person. So we've heard from organizers that they want to try adding a Zoom or a Google Meet or a virtual meeting and just adding it to their in-person event. And right now it's hard. You can't select a physical location and add a link easily. I've been adding them in the description of my event, but it's not perfect. So we're going to start enabling hybrid events, which is that both in-person and online at the same time experience within Meetup. That'll let you help understand who's attending which part of the event and sort of what to expect so you can plan that better. So a first iteration of this will be coming out over the next few months. We would love more feedback on this. We've been asking people in surveys and speaking one-on-one with organizers about their experience for the past year, and as they start to return to having in-person events, what they need from us. So this is one thing that we've heard. So we're going to start here. Please, your feedback is welcome. We're always looking for ways to make it easier to find all those folks who answered, I'm a member of Meetup. Most of my time is spent looking for stuff to go to. I imagine yours is too, and looking for groups. Search is, for me, the way I do it the most. And especially when I'm on my phone, typing is hard because my thumbs are not talented. So I want to make that easier. All of us did an autocomplete where you like start typing and then they suggest words and different phrases for you. That hasn't been a part of Meetup, and we're going to start bringing that to us. So when you start looking for a running group and you type RUN, you'll get running, and you can just click on it and you'll get a search result. So autocomplete is a small, but I think really useful feature for so many people, especially when you're on the go and you're on your phone. So I'm really looking forward to this. Personally, I hope you are too. A lot of us already use Meetup on our iPads. It's a lot of people. We've been talking to them, and it's not as great as we want it to be. So we're doing something about that. We're going to officially support Meetup on an iPad experience with our native apps. It's going to make it more consistent. It's going to make it easier to use, and hopefully it'll make Meetup more accessible wherever you are. There's another part here, which is Siri integration, which is, as many people know, I think, certainly I have younger folks in my life, like children, and they use voice to communicate with all devices. Sometimes even if they don't have voice control, like my fridge, my kids will still try. So we want to give everybody an ability to just talk to their phone, to their iPad, to say, to ask Siri for information on your upcoming Meetup events. So we're working on the integration now. I hope you find it useful, but we would love your feedback on it. It's something new for us, and we're very excited. This is something that I wanted to address because I actually even already saw a comment on this or a question on this here. I've been talking to a whole lot of organizers about this in various forums. We have a small handful of obsolete features that we would need to overhaul completely to make them more usable to organizers. And to be clear, these are tools that some organizers are using and some organizers depend on, but it is a very small number of people, and it needs a fair bit of work from our part to make them up to our standards and to continue to support them. So what we're committed to, and I think we've been repeating this over and over at these events, if you've been here before, you've heard this, but we're committed to making Meetup more reliable, faster, and improving it more quickly. So we have made a really hard decision in some cases to remove some tools from Meetup. Our goal is to have features on Meetup that are fully supported, maintained, and continuously improved upon. There's a group of them specifically here. I'm talking about our files functionality, our polls functionality, and our feed, which we don't fully support already. Most people don't know about these because a decent number of years ago, we stopped letting new people access them, but we still have a pretty a small but dedicated group of folks who use them. So for those people, we know it's particularly painful to have something go away, but we're not going anywhere. Our goal of doing this is to be able to continue to build things and make Meetup better, including finding the functionality you need and putting it on the platform. So we are removing some things that, again, I think most people don't know exist who are here. But if you are somebody who uses these regularly, we are here to understand what you're using them for. I think someone made the comment about there used to be a feature to print name tags and you use that to take attendance. That is a fantastic thing for us to know, because that'll help us focus on having better ways for you to take attendance, not just print name tags. So please keep the information coming. Again, our goal here is to make it so we can improve Meetup to make it the thing that all of us need so that we can continue to meet and build communities. And this is just a step in doing that. This, we've also mentioned before, it bears mentioning more than once anyway, but I think in this quarter, really over the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to make a lot of progress here. We've created a separate app to help organizers use Meetup for what you do most. It's in development now. We are hoping to be in a beta, a semi-public beta later this year. So we're looking for organizers to help us test it. We are very excited about this. Our current app does support organizers, but it doesn't support it universally as well as we want, not all functionality. So we're really trying to start by focusing in on what the organizers need the most and coming out from there. And we have a very dedicated and amazing team working on this. So I'm excited that this is coming up soon, and I hope all of you are too. Please, again, feedback here is critical for us so we can make sure we're building just what you need. So Prerna and I shared a fair number of things, and I would love to understand more about what of the things that we showed you, talked about, are stuck in your head. You can certainly ask questions about some of them, but we wanted to just do a quick poll so we can all see what's sort of in the collective room. Here, Prerna, I'll let you grab my screen back. And I will also, just to make it easier, I think, I'll see if my team lets me, I can try to post in chat some of the stuff we talked about.
There's an image here too, so you can see.
Oh, there you go. Thank
when
you.
you go to answer, you'll see an image of all the things that, list of all the things that we talked about today. So feel free to reference that as you type.
It's very hard. I know you all can see us and hear us. We can't hear you and see you. So it's very hard. So I really appreciate you typing this in. It's if we were in a big room together, we could sort of tell what's going on. But for us in this virtual setup, this is how we know what you're thinking and how you're reacting. It helps the conversation a lot. All right, Organizer mobile app is very big and in the middle. I'm glad some of the things that we fixed are here.
Yeah.
I hope they're making you as happy as they make us. Specifically, photo updating has made my life a lot easier. Or photo uploading. Group settings. Picture.
That's great. All right, we have 28 people who have responded. You can answer this question multiple times. So if there's multiple things that made you excited, definitely please share that with us. But this is great to have a great pulse check on everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oops. I was trying to go to the next slide and realized I'm not. We have another question for you all. And then when you hit sort of what you think is, if you keep answering this, by the way, we'll get to see it. We get to look at these answers later. So please don't feel you have to stop when we move on to the next question.
I think actually, if I move on to the next question.
Oh yeah, it'll stop. Yeah, that's right, because you're running both.
I'll give it maybe another few more seconds.
Somebody wrote way to reach support, which I hope means that we answered a question for you. But if it doesn't, we'll share more of that in a minute with everybody in the Q&A or in our slides.
All right.
I also see whoever typed photo updates, if it works, please go try and tell us if it doesn't. We really want to know. We've been testing so much, but it's really useful to have all of you bang on it with your actual groups and your pictures.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna move on. 67.
All right, this is the part. I think what we're asking next is we want to hear from you. Some of it's in here, but like, what would you like us to be working on? What would you like to see from the Meetup product team? That can certainly be a feature that you've been waiting for a long time. It can be something else, but we would love to know. If it's really nothing, I'll be very sad.
All right.
It prevents click confused. Donate button.
Dan and I were literally just talking about it this
morning. We were just talking about this morning. If that helps, we will continue to talk about it in the next couple of days.
Cool. Discussion forums. Okay. Mobile attendance check-in. Yep. Also something we just talked about.
I feel like somebody got cut off with why the heck, but I really want to know more. I appreciate your restraint in your language, but feel free to type it in a question if you want me to answer.
Yeah.
Or try to find it.
I feel like doing a word cloud is a little tough here because it's everyone's free text here.
That's okay. I know.
Event reviews. Interesting. Okay. Plus, if you're also saying things on here that you also agree with, feel free to just submit it again, and we'll see.
It'll get bigger.
Yeah, well, it'll get bigger. Exactly. I think paying for events, I've seen that. Fixed payment meetup fees. Okay. Charging for events. A lot of things around just event fees and ticketing. Cool.
Google Calendar, which I probably want to know. Mobile attendance check-in. All right.
Help us with no-shows. Make location easier. All right. Oh, I see group stats out of date. Yes, we agree. Also very out of date. We're looking into that right now. Public group reviews.
I can't remember which one I just saw because they're still moving, but one of them said something about event bugs. I'm trying to find it now because it just changed color. But if you wrote that, at the end, when we give you our address, you can tell us specifically so we can look into it. That'd be great. Okay, so checking this. This is really useful. Thank you all for typing in all this. It's crowdsourcing information, even in real time. We appreciate your patience. So I'm going to talk over this for a second, and just the next thing I wanted to say before I move on, just to really to question and answers, was we're continuing to, you know, in the US specifically, but I think this is certainly true. I hope it's more true. The world has been through so many changes, as has Meetup. And in the US, we're beginning to see what I hope is closer to a new normal. And it's allowed us a moment to look a little bit further ahead and start thinking about where Meetup should be in a year, or like 3 years or 5 years, and not just trying to understand where the world might be in a couple of weeks, a couple of months. This like Meetup Live update is meant to be focused on the last few months or the months ahead, but I didn't want to leave all of you thinking with the impression that because we've been doing short monthly updates or every few month updates, that we're not looking at anything that's not right in front of us. We are. Some of the things, especially that you've written, we've seen them in the previous one. I saw a couple in the word cloud, are things that will take us longer to either fix, address, or find a solution for a problem that you're having, or an opportunity that you've brought up. So now that we have, I hope, a continued moment to look at that, we are starting to look a little bit further ahead and understand where we need to take Meetup and how we shape Meetup to help all of us continue to build fantastic communities and connect with other people in real life. So just a moment to say, it's not all of these small things, it's all these small things plus where we're going together. And Prerna and I are here to help figure that out with you.
Great, thanks, Dan. I hope, again, as always, you know, we want to share a lot of the work that we're doing with you all open and transparently, and do this on a regular basis. And all of the work that you saw today, as always, is just there is a community of people behind all of these updates, a team of just amazing PMs, designers, data scientists, and engineers who are working with us to bring you everything that you saw today. And so just wanted to acknowledge that. Also, I've said this probably many, many times now, but it really is as a direct result of your feedback and all of the engagement that you've just given us right now. Really, really helps Dan and I and our teams shape what we are building. So thank you, again, for the continued engagement, for writing in, for participating in feedback sessions, and even just finding Dan and I directly and telling us where we can improve on our platform, because that's really where how we're collectively going to make this better. Speaking of feedback sessions, I put this slide up every single time, but I'm going to make another pitch for it. If you are looking to get involved, we are always looking for more organizers and members to speak to. And for those of you who have already participated, again, many, many, many thanks. But if you're interested, please use the link. I think we'll post the link in the chat. There you go. And when you participate, you get to see, you know, you're one of the first to see new designs and provide direction, and just be critical to making your platform better. So please sign up there. And especially if you're organizers, we're doing active research on our organizer mobile app. So if there are certain features that you want to see on the app itself, definitely sign up, and we'll try to get you into the next research session for that. Next part,
my mouse went crazy. I'm sorry, Prerna.
Oh, it's okay. No worries. All good. Another big part of building Meetup is just hiring really great people to work here, and we have an amazing team. But we do have a number of roles open. And so I just wanted to highlight a couple right now, where Dan and I are hiring both a senior product manager as well as a senior designer to work with our web teams. We also have multiple data and engineering roles open as well. You can check out all of the roles on our careers page that's listed right there. And if you have any questions about our team, you want to learn more about our roles, or maybe you have a great referral that you want to make to us, please reach out to Dan and myself. We would absolutely love to hear from you and just excited to recruit the next set of folks to help Meetup get better. Next up, a couple sort of offers. So for the few folks who have not been on Meetup and are thinking about joining, you can join as an organizer. We are offering a 30% off discount off your first subscription payment. We'll drop the link in the chat, but you can go to meetupsavings.com and get a nice little discount code if you're thinking about trying. We also referenced Pro today a lot. I know there was some questions in the chat about what Pro is. Pro is sort of a more upgraded product. It has a set of additional features, which we can go into a little bit more detail about. But of all the things that we talked about today, network events, the different sort of messaging opportunities, you can try out Pro for a free month using this link here that you see, and it'll be in the chat as well. So definitely give that a shot if any of the features that we talked about today looked interesting. Just a couple more slides. Next one, I just want to plug our podcast again. Again, some of you might have already heard it. It's called Keep Connected. It's hosted by our CEO, David Siegel. And David continues to just talk about bring on some really amazing guests and talk about community and building relationships and insights and learnings that I know we can all use as organizers and community builders. So please go check it out. There's a subscribe link shown here. You can also scan the QR code using your phone's camera. I'll pause a couple seconds so that you can do that.
And then I've been reading through the Q&A. There's a lot. We're going to hop to that. I just want to say, if you, one of the things that's been asked, this email address, if you want to talk to us while we start to answer questions, you can email here. We will actually get it. This isn't a great email to get immediate support. I'm just going to stress that, which if you need support, please use the help center and get in touch with our support team. But this will go so that Prerna and I and our teams can look at it. So any questions or feedback, please feel free to send it here. I'm just looking through this. Thank you so much, everybody, for all this wonderful questions. Let's try to get through as many as we can and see what we can do with the rest so we can give you information. Someone just because I saw this first, but Prerna, feel free to hop in and interrupt me or grab a question, which I think Jason asked about elaborating on the function of the organizer app. Jason, and just so everyone knows, that's a little bit of the point of the beta, is to figure out the exact right balance of features and what organizers need the most when they're on the go, like what they need on their phone versus on their computer, if their phone is their primary. So the answer is, we don't know entirely for where it will end up. And we're actually figuring out now with organizers exactly where that starts. So you can be a part of that. Part of that is why we're asking for people to give us feedback and work on that. We certainly have an idea of where it's going to start, but where it goes, you can help us determine.
I want to answer a question from Vicky and maybe even ask Vicky a question back. Vicky Townshend asked, should I be finding an option to search for online events, only getting geographical search options? I'm in the UK. I think we have a new experience that we've been rolling out to some folks. So Vicky, it depends if you're in that new experience or not. But if you are not, it should be getting to you soon. If you are, we do have a option to filter events by online or in person, and when we introduce hybrid, by hybrid. And so there should be a way coming to you very shortly, if it hasn't already, in the next couple of weeks, for you to be able to do that.
A couple of folks asked kind of emergency questions. I think Gail Johnson asked a question about files. And in it was something really specific about like wanting to link to Ride with GPS site for a bike club. Please, I want to learn more. So I was going to say, if you can reach out to us via that email address, that would be fantastic. I think someone else asked a question about name tags and attendance taker, and like they use it to take attendance. Things like this are really useful. We don't know how everyone's using some of these features. When we say they're not really supported anymore, they're just there and we don't have great visibility into how they're being used. So we really want to learn that. So I'd love to help figure out what you need and see if we can bring it to Meetup. I also think someone asked a question specifically about like, are polls and files coming back? The answer is not in their current form. Example with name tags, we were just talking about the fact that we can help people make name tags, Meetup rented name tags. That shouldn't be hard. We can find a way to do that. If Prerna and I are working on a way to offer polls so you can understand, hey, can I poll my members for my next event? So yes, we're going to try to bring the pieces that we see people using and getting value from back to the platform, but we're not exactly recreating the same feature. Again, love your input on the things that you think you need for your group. And if you're using polls for something specific and you want that to continue, please let us know so we can help understand that and consider building something.
I saw a bunch of notes. Jag asked, any plans to improve the messaging function? I searched for someone you may have contacted before. I've seen a bunch of other questions around messaging itself. Dan and I have had extensive conversations about messaging on Meetup. We know it's not great, and this is a huge priority for us to figure out how to fix. It's, in all honesty, kind of a complicated problem, but one that we are definitely committed to solving. So there are a couple of options we've been looking at, and we're going to, as soon as we have more information to share with you all, we definitely want to, around sort of like improving our communication. And that includes not just emails, but it also includes like just discussions and the way that you can also talk to people in more of a real-time fashion than maybe a more asynchronous type of communication method like email. So there's a lot more to come from us there. Dan, I don't know if there's anything you want to add.
I think you said it great. There's certainly more coming there. Linda, you mentioned in Europe with GDPR, you don't like printing out a list of people and having it with you. And Linda sort of referenced a way to tick, like a tick list to knock off people who were there without having to print it. Yes, someone else asked about what we're thinking about for the organizer app. That is absolutely something we're thinking about for the organizer app, which is an easy way to take attendance on the go. So I don't have an exact time on that. That's why we didn't exactly feature it in the organizer app stuff. But yes, we are looking at reintroducing features like that. Peter also mentioned we used to have this. Actually, I think I remember this, but it's been a bit, an activity feed on the group home where you could see a lot of what people were doing, people who were in the group were doing on the platform. That hasn't been here in quite some time, but Peter had said how it makes the group look more like a community. You can see what's happening in it. And we are absolutely talking about ways to bring that sense of activity and community back to group homes, so you can see what's happening within the group other than just events. So definitely more on that coming soon, and appreciate the feedback.
Mohammed asked, are these remote job roles, and do we have to be in the US? These are definitely remote. We're a fully remote company, though some of us are in New York. We do meet in New York and are planning to get back together, but all of the roles that we've heard today are remote. Do we have to be in the US? Our preference is that you are in the US. Yes, unfortunately. Yeah,
we can't employ people in any country, but some countries we can. It's a little tricky, but feel free to apply. We can have that conversation. We'd love to hear from you. Love to meet you. Sorry, I'm reading through. Thank you all. This is awesome. I think is Dante. Dante's selling at multiple groups. I'm trying to find the original. Someone mentioned something, and this is not a sales pitch, but just said, hey, I have 3 groups. It'd be great to sort of be able to work across them. My comment was that's actually what Meetup Pro is really good at. It does help you manage 3 groups and sort of manage them as one entity that you have different locations of, in case that helps. Again, happy to talk about that more, but that is generally one of the main use cases for Pro.
I think we're out of time today.
No, yes, we are. We
lost track of time right now. I'm honestly, I've been reading all these Q&A. They are fantastic. Some of you have left incredibly detailed notes for us on what we can be doing to fix this platform. I think we're gonna find a way to download all of these and make sure we can get through them. If we didn't get to answer your question today, please use the product feedback at meetup.com. Dan and I will read through them. I'm not going to be able to promise that we answer every single one, but we 100% will read all of them and where possible, address anything that we can.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
See you again soon.